Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their but they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Welcome back to your Valley Sports Plug Live. It's Tuesday, March 31st, 2026. I'm your host, Chris Patrick, and boy, oh boy, do we have a packed slate for you this evening. I want to thank you all so much for being here. We have Amar'e Stoudemire being selected for the 2026 Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame class, along with a few others. The University of Arizona Wildcats are on their way to the Final Four for the first time since 2001. None of those kids on the team were even born yet. That's crazy. Dillon Brooks is back and villainous as ever. He picked up a technical foul in his very first game back. He'll get a fine, one more, and he's suspended. We'll chat about that. And your Arizona Diamondbacks season is officially underway. At the start of this pod, they are currently 1-3, dropping all three in LA to start the season. But hey, only so much you can do. It's a long season ahead. But before we get into all of that, I want to thank you again for being here. Make sure you like and subscribe right here on YouTube. Follow us at AZ_VSP on Instagram, X, TikTok, and so much more. All of our links will be in the description below. Joining me tonight to talk about all of these topics, and a whole lot more, Mr. Benjamin and VSP Tallman. What's going on, fellas?
Gentlemen, I almost pulled a VSP Tallman and almost called in for a sick day. But then I remembered I will not be here next week because I will be attending my final game that I have tickets for the Phoenix Suns, going up against Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets. I cannot wait for that game. But also, are you kidding me? Stat is going to the Hall. It's one of my childhood guys, man. I was on the floor rebounding. I could always say that I was on the floor rebounding for a Hall of Famer now, man. I had to be here to talk about my guy. But Tallman, how you doing? How's David doing back there too?
Oh, guys. I just came to the conclusion. This is why I wasn't here last week. I was so upset. I'm no longer an Arizona sports fan, so I ripped everything down. And now I'm just a David Duchovny fan now. I mean, let's be real. That's it. That's all it is. But he's doing good, Mike. Thank you for asking. I'm doing good as well.
Hey, I like David Duchovny. It's X-Files, right? That was his big.
Yeah. Well,
he's in
old.
Californication.
Yeah, that was a good show. He's old now. I don't think he's in anything.
Oh, he's enjoying himself, probably right on.
I'm a fake fan.
He's collecting those residuals,
drinking a martini. He's doing just fine.
He's hanging out on my wall.
There you go. Well, guys, I'm glad to have you here. Mike, that is awesome that you're going to get out to that Houston game. I think when the Rockets were in town earlier this year, KD didn't play, so hopefully he doesn't find an excuse to get out of this one, and you get to see all the boos rain down every time he touches the ball. That's going to be absolutely fantastic. And I'm glad you didn't take a sick day, because I don't know if I can take too much more of my guys taking sick days. Like 2 players on my fantasy basketball team during finals week decided to take sick days. I'm looking at you, Norm Powell and PJ Washington. Could have used those 20+ points, but I digress. It's early. There's still a chance. Mike, Beck, I'm coming for you. Anyway, fellas, we got a whole lot to talk about, so I don't want to waste too much more time with the back and forth here. And we said it at the top, Amar'e Stoudemire, stat to the Hall of Fame. And speaking of stats, I think you had those ready to go, right, Mike?
Oh, you know me. I'm ready to go because this is my guy, man. Amar'e Stoudemire, he has been elected to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame class of 2026. He joins notable names Candace Parker, Elena Delle Donne, Doc Rivers, along with some others. But, man, just an all-time Phoenix Suns guy. 9th overall pick in the 2002 draft from Cypress Creek High School in Orlando, one of the last remaining guys who did jump to the league straight from high school, but he has a bunch of accolades. He was the Rookie of the Year. He's a 5-time All-Star. He did make an All-NBA first team in 2007, as well as 4 other All-NBA second teams. But in his 8 seasons with the Phoenix Suns, he led Phoenix to the playoffs 5 times, averaged around 22 points, shot 55%, 9 rebounds, 1.5 blocks. He's 7th in franchise history for points, 3rd in rebounds, and 5th in blocks. But we also know after his time in Phoenix, he did go on and have success in New York alongside Mike D'Antoni for a few years there as well. Played 5 years there, then finished it off in Miami and Dallas for a season. And of course, when Matt Ishbia took over as the owner for the Phoenix Suns, he said, we have to do right, not only by our fans, but by our legends, enshrining him into the, what is it called? The Suns Ring of Honor nowadays in 2024. I can't believe, I thought it was last year, but technically it was 2024. It was last season, but it was early in the year. Man, I know a lot of people have some thoughts. I've been seeing a lot on X. And before I go too crazy on my thoughts in regard to the nod for Amar'e, I'll pass it over to you guys, man. How are you feeling about this honor for Stat?
Man, Mike, as a Phoenix Suns fan, I think this is awesome for him, for that era of Suns basketball, and just for the fans and the organization as a whole. Like, we need as much Arizona and Phoenix representation as we can get on the national stage. And I think there's a fair conversation to be had. I mean, when you look at the resume, of course he was loved here, but after he left Phoenix, he had a kind of a tumultuous, stretch with New York, then didn't really do anything with the Mavericks or Heat, as far as I can remember, before he found himself playing overseas. I'll always remember Amar'e Stoudemire on that 05, 06, 07 Suns teams, and the 05 slam dunk contest in particular, where he brought out Steve Nash to give him a few lobs, a few creative lobs, a little header, if you will. But yeah, man, I mean, you laid out the resume there. I get it, but I think it's deserved, honestly. I mean, Tallman, I know you want to talk about Candace Parker and Elena Delle Donne. I know those are the people you're really excited to talk about, but I mean, what I know you kind of became a Suns fan a little later on, but
I was going to say, just me and David are here just looking pretty during this segment of the programming. I don't know, but dude, I'm not going to lie. I was not a Suns fan when this happened. I couldn't even tell you one memory I had watching Stoudemire play for the Suns. So going over the stats, man, I don't know. It's kind of like with every major sport now. It's like they're letting anybody into the Hall of Fame. So at what point does it not get, or it's not as, special as it used to be, right? I mean, you could say the same thing for the NFL. Definitely say it for the major leagues. I mean, everybody's in the MLB Hall of Fame. But I don't know. I mean, as a fan, right? Let me make that clear. I mean, obviously I know who he is. He's been one of the Valley figures for the Suns, for the franchise. I'm all about it. You won't see me complain or say it's not deserving. What did I say? Whatever. But hey, I don't know. I couldn't tell you one way or another what if he's deserving or if he's not. I'm just going to be honest.
Well, as the homer in me, I think it's more than deserved. Of course. A couple of Heat Check podcasts back, we did one of our lists, and it was our top 3 witnessed sports moments. And I think Amar'e's 50-point game against the Portland Trailblazers was at the top of that list. And I think the reason why he truly is getting his nod is he had the longevity of a great career and a dominant power forward in the NBA. But I also believe that basketball likes to highlight the changes of the guard or the transitions of games and those who highlighted it. When you talk about today's NBA with the high-flying action, lots of three-point shots, you guys still have to go back to that 7 seconds or less Suns team. And it was headed by Steve Nash, Amar'e Stoudemire, and Sean Marion, who I think is eventually going to end up in the Hall of Fame as well. So it just makes sense that he is getting the nod for the longevity of his career, the successes that he also did see overseas, Chris. I mean, you might have been joking, but, his time in, what was it? You're muted. You got to tell me. Maccabi Tel Aviv?
I swear I'm muted. Yeah, Maccabi Tel Aviv and Hapoel Jerusalem.
He was absolutely dominant over there. And obviously it was later on in his career, he was stretching closer to his 40s, but was funny. We were talking about this before the pod started as well. This is the Basketball Hall of Fame, not just the NBA Hall of Fame. And for you to see large successes at wherever you step foot in, it makes it worthwhile, and it really cements you as one of the top of the craft. So I did say, offline too, I was like, I kind of thought we would have a chance, but this seems pretty quick, because I think the first time he was technically able to be, a finalist was last year for the class of 2025. So technically not a first ballot, which makes sense, but man, hats off to hats off to Amar'e Stoudemire. One of the coolest guys I ever got to know as a Phoenix Suns ball boy. Obviously, he was a young kid when I was a ball boy, in his early to mid 20s, learning the game and just thriving and setting the Valley on fire. So, wow. I don't know. I don't think we're going to make it to Canton for Larry's enshrinement, but it might be easier to stomach a flight out to Springfield, because then you can get closer to Boston, Tallman. We can have some fun out there. So I'll do some digging, do some research into that kind of stuff. But congrats to Stat, man. Another notch on the Valley legend belt. I love it, man. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I can't hate it at all. Mike, you laid out the case perfectly. And he was like one of the last, handful of players drafted right out of high school, getting drafted in 2002, before one singular year before LeBron James. And I think that's like another perspective that's kind of hard to keep, is like, by all measures, Amar'e did have a good long career in the NBA from 2002 until 2016. So 14-year career. Like, we know obviously all the big names, like they are typically in the league 10 years plus, but that's like the exception, not the rule. Like there's a lot of guys that really don't make it that long. So yeah, props to Stat. Super happy for him, and well-deserved at the end of the day. But gentlemen, staying on the basketball topic, we've got to talk about Michael Benjamin's University of Arizona Wildcats. They're on their way back to the Final Four after beating Purdue in the Elite Eight, 79-64. The first half looked a little bit sketchy. Texted the boys some eye emojis, little side eye emojis, but they pulled it out. They had a really strong second half and really kind of ran away with it. I think the phrase I've loved hearing Mike use in our group chat is belt to ass. Busted that out a couple times. And I had texted him before I think it was before the Arkansas game, where I was like, I don't know, guys, I have a bad feeling about this one. And then it wasn't even close. But Mike, what have you seen, and what do you think it means for Arizona and the University of Arizona to be back in the Final Four for the first time in over 20 years?
I mean, this means everything for Tucson, guys. Tucson is a basketball town. It was built on the back of Lute Olson and all those great players that have continued to go through that program, even though it has been 25 years since they've made the Final Four. But man, I mean, yeah, we were nervous. I think a lot of people were nervous as they struggled in the last 5 minutes of the first half, and they were down by 7, but then they just shut down one of the nation's most efficient offenses in the second half. I mean, Purdue's Braden Smith, he started off hot, but then he was quickly frustrated. U of A held Purdue to its second lowest point total of the season, as they only shot 38% from the field. And it was by their contributors, all of them, man. Koa Pete, 20 points. He's only the 6th freshman ever to hit that number in both the Sweet 16 and Elite 8. Then you had Ivan Karchenkov, who's been a solid wing the entire tournament with 18 points. Their guards, Jaden Bradley and Braden Burries, 14 points each. Krivos has basically played himself into not being able to be taken off the floor because he's one of the most dominant big men in NCAA right now. Had 12 rebounds, including 5 offensive boards. But I think, man, the nation is kind of screwed out of what should be the true national championship matchup and what they're going to get in this Final Four game with Arizona Wildcats versus Michigan State, or Michigan. Sorry, my apologies to the men in blue. All right. And right now, Michigan is favorited, right? There's a couple of things U of A is going to have to do. They're going to have to continue to dominate the paint. In that game against Purdue, they had 40-plus paint points and 20 points from the free throw line. They're going to have to control Yaxel Lendenborg. He's averaging 25 points in the last 3 games for Michigan, as well as keep guys like Morez Johnson Jr. off the glass, who's averaging 8 boards per game in this tournament. But it's funny, Chris, that you do talk about the phrase belt to ass, because that is truly the definition of what this Michigan team is. This year, they won 17 games by at least 20 points or more, including 3 of the 4 games in this tournament. So there's a lot on the line in regard to legacy for both of these teams specifically too, because if Michigan takes it home this year, that'll be the first time that a Big Ten team has won since Matt Ishbia's Michigan State Spartans won in 2000. So this is going to be a can't miss matchup. And obviously those last final games as well. Well, okay, we'll say it. The UConn Duke game was an all-timer, obviously. This tournament has been great, and not just because we've seen representation from Arizona as a whole within it, but man, there have been some nail biters, especially from the Sweet 16 on, and I cannot wait for Thursday. And it sounds like we already have plans for Monday, so baby, let's go. Bear down.
The game is on Thursday?
Oh, no, my apologies.
Saturday.
Saturday. I was gonna say the 4th. I was like, am I my calendar wrong? Even better. The build up will just bubble. But yeah, that Michigan team is nasty. Tallman, I gotta loop you in here because I know within your family you've got some Michigan fans. You also have a good amount. Not you though. Not you though. But also some of your family is down from near the Dirty T. So I just have to ask, like, if you've been talking to them at all and where their allegiances lie going into this game coming up this weekend.
Oh yeah, I mean, my dad grew up in Tucson, but he's always been a Michigan fan, and he's been watching. He's stoked about it. He'll be the first one to tell you. So this is going to be an interesting matchup for him. It's his hometown versus basically where his entire family is from. But me, I don't know why why Mr. T Jr. is a Michigan fan. He's sucking that off of my dad. That sounded fucking weird. But anyway, yeah. Wait, go back. Wait, this is live.
We'll cut it out in post.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Cut it out. Thanks, Mike. But no, I mean, this does kind of suck that this is pretty much the championship game. And then I've been battling with it as well. Cause I mean, Mike, I know you have ties to U of A. I could give a shit less about U of A. And honestly, in the first round, I was like, let's see them lose to another 16 seed. That'd be great. But I've come to grips with it, and I'm not going to be that whole doomer or whatever with it. I'm rooting for them, right? Because at least we have something nice and shiny here in Arizona, and it'd be pretty cool if they get to win that national championship. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I watched the last game. I will not lie. I did not watch any other U of A games, but I caught the end of that UConn Duke game, and holy shit, Dan Hurley is a menace, dude. Did you see him pretty much getting naked on the sideline?
I did
he was like,
not see that.
His jacket was like half off, half on. That was true madness.
And he was getting in the face of a referee, so it was like almost close to a point where like touching an official gets a technical. So it's like, wow, if they would have lost on that kind of situation, it would have been tough. But
yeah, they played some radio call for a Duke radio call, and the announcer on the call was like, oh, he came off the court. That should be technical. That should be technical. And of course they didn't call anything. It was like they were just grasping at anything. And then what was it? Grant Hill was one of the dudes on the broadcast, right? And he was literally speechless. It's great. But no, that was an awesome game.
He's crying a little bit, man. This Final Four is going to be exciting. There's a lot of built-in storylines, and us as a whole, we know a lot of people who are rooting for different teams within this, right? You know, Chris and I, a couple of guys who we play basketball with every week, Drew and Greg, are huge Illini fans. So they're over the moon right now with what they've done as well. We know UConn has won 2 previous national championships. Michigan men, you know, I have my own ties to Michigan as well, but this is so good for the Valley. Whether you root for Arizona or Arizona State, basketball in the Valley is just on fire right now, no matter how you look at it, right? We're going to talk about the Suns here in just a second, but Arizona State is turning the corner with hiring Randy Bennett, the very long tenured coach from St. Mary's, coached there for 25 years, had multiple successful seasons there, and he's an ASU guy as well. I know it sounds like there are some health concerns to start, but I think he's going to get into the fold. He's going to start getting some recruiting classes under his belt and building the program in his version that he sees to bring ASU to a different level of success that they haven't seen, especially like Arizona in the past, I'd say 30 years. But basketball in the Valley is strong. And man, there's nothing like it, man. There is just absolutely nothing like it.
I mean, we've been saying it for like the whole month and even back in February. Like, this is like basketball month. Like, Final Four, the NCAA, the whole NCAA tournament has been happening over the last several weeks. The NBA season is starting to wind down. We're about to head into the playoffs. Like, this is like prime time basketball time. And I absolutely love it. I unfortunately didn't get to see like the end of that Duke UConn game. I was out with the family. And then I didn't, like, later when I got home, I like opened the ESPN app and I was like, Duke lost by 1. And then it wasn't until yesterday when I'm on my way into work, they're talking about it on the radio. And I was like, wait, what happened? And I watched it on my phone. That game winner was absolutely ridiculous. And the guy who didn't close out, did you see his Instagram handle is like, put a hand up or something like that? And he has his like hands at, like, he's just, oh, yep, there it goes. I mean, that is like the deepest, that's a absurdly deep 3, but like, with your entire season on the line and an opportunity to go to the Final Four, you gotta put a little effort in there, young man.
Yeah, unacceptable. I mean, Chris, on Pass the Outlet, we might have to dissect that play a little bit more, but I can't wait for that. I can't wait for the rest of these games to finish up here, and it's coming at us quick.
Oh, yeah. I'm so down for that, Mike. We'll have to make it happen. The ties are ridiculous. And I just have to say, before we move off this topic, I know I've been on here over the last several weeks, and I've said I'm warming up to the idea of rooting for U of A. They are a successful team. They're technically part of Arizona. And then the second I start watching the game, I hope they lose. It's just like ingrained in me. Like, I can't help it. Like, I literally can't help it. Like, even watching the Purdue game, I'm like, I kind of hope they lose. But like, I don't know. I'm still kind of with you guys and with you, Tallman. Like, I think it would be good for Arizona as a whole if they get something shiny. It'd be the only thing shiny in Tucson. But hey, I mean, it's still a win is a win is a win.
That was incredible, Chris.
Hey, take your digs when you can. You got to do it.
Yeah,
you got to do it.
You're right. We got to set our hatred aside for the better good of the state, right? Because this is a special moment. We can't try to downgrade it.
Yeah, and it goes kind of like what I was saying with Amar'e being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Any positive light the Valley can get on the national stage is good for us as a whole. And the more rivalry it'll make between ASU and U of A when they play each other, because it's like U of A's always kind of sunned ASU when it comes to basketball. So I know ASU likes to put their best foot forward. They've had a few wins here and there against them. There was that ridiculous like full court shot game winner. Was it last season or the season before? So it makes for entertainment. It makes for good storylines and all good things. All good things. But guys, I think we have one last basketball related topic. And no, it isn't Dillon Brooks getting a DUI for weed, but it is about Dillon Brooks. He made his return tonight to the hardwood in Orlando. I think they say Disney World and Disneyland are supposed to be the happiest place on earth. And I was hoping that him being in the vicinity of that park would calm him down between the marijuana and the Disney proximity. I was hoping Dillon Brooks would be in good spirits. And within 90 seconds, he picks up another technical. I think we had set the topics to talk about Dillon's return before that even happened, but I got to start there. Mike, at what point are we just fucking sick of Dillon Brooks and his antics, man? I just don't think he can help himself at this point.
He can't, Chris. It is who he is. Man, I want to use a perfect analogy. Like, a leopard can't change its spots at this point. Like, Dillon Brooks, they call him the villain for a reason. He's a crazy man. He's a crazy person. His emotions get the best of him, sometimes to a detriment. And now overall, did it lead to the Suns losing this game? I don't think so. Their play down the stretch did. Their inability to attack against the bigger defenders that Orlando had and not really trying to run sets down the stretch is what did it in for him. But it was a tough night for Dillon, Chris. I mean, it's funny. He missed 18 games. You know when the last game he played was? February 21st in Phoenix against the Orlando Magic. So he returns against Orlando, and he struggled from the field, man. 413, had 5 fouls really early in the third quarter. I think that could contribute to his frustrations within the way that he was playing as well. You talked about the early tee, not hitting from the field. Then you start getting those ticky-tack fouls, even though it was kind of happening throughout this entire game. But we're going to talk a little bit more about the Suns and how their outlook is coming down the stretch within these last 7 to 8 games that they have. But how you wanted to talk about, Dillon, is how I need to ask Tallman. You know, we're getting down to the stretch of a full year since the Kevin Durant trade. Obviously, Dillon had his great start. He's coming back. But then Jalen Green, who had a very long absence with his own issues with the hamstring, is just so hit or miss now. He struggled today as well. 8 points, 4 turnovers, and wasn't on the floor in the final 5 minutes. Do you think that the Phoenix Suns are going to be able to trust these guys down the stretch to make the correct plays and not put the Phoenix Suns at disadvantages down the stretch, especially within these win or go home situations that they're going to find themselves in the play-in games? Tallman, what do you think?
I mean, we're not going to have a choice, right? You know, it's all year. It's like, because if you look back, how many minutes did they all, I'm not going to call them the big three, but did Booker, Brooks, and Green all play together? I mean, it was like one or the other. Brooks was suspended or hurt. Booker was hurt. Green obviously took forever to make his debut, but it's like, we're not going to have a choice. You're going to have to. And then we're going to have to pray and cross our fingers that, you know, Dillon Brooks is going to be making better decisions once we get into a play-in game, or we're probably looking at a play-in game, right? I'm sure you guys have talked a bunch about that, trying to hold on to that 7 spot. And you just got to hope he makes better decisions and just more level-headed. I mean, you can still play with the intensity without, you know, making a bonehead type decision. But the technicals are, do you know, so it resets in the playoffs. Does that extend it? The play-in's not a playoff game, right?
The stats don't count for the playoffs or the regular season. So that's a good question.
So does his 17, or could he, if he got a technical in the final game of the season, would he be suspended for the play-in game? I don't know. That would be just icing on the cake if that was the case. That'd be a terrible end to what's been a very shocking, surprising season for the Suns. But the Jalen Green part of it too. I mean, I think we were up a lot of points versus the Grizzlies, but he didn't even play in the fourth quarter. I mean, it seems like he can't be trusted right now because he can't buy a bucket, you know. And then it seems like I know this because I did a live bet on him tonight, where I was like, dude, he comes out the gates hot. I mean, he has like 8, 9, 10 points within the first quarter, and then it's like he doesn't score for shit that at the end of the game, and it's like it's hard to rely on him, and that can't be how it is, right? So we got to be able to rely on Green, to trust him to make the right choice. Brooks has to get back to how he was before he broke his hand, because I mean there were games where he was carrying us, especially when Booker was out. It was like, I told you guys on a past stream, I was like, I had no idea Dillon Brooks could score like this, you know, going back to his Oregon days. So it's going to be interesting. I'm a little concerned about Gillespie, man. Him missing 24 shots in a row. A kid that is just such a pure shooter, and who I've enjoyed the most watching this year. Where it's like you got to hope he can get back in. And then tonight, I mean, you had the stat or the box score up there, Mike. I mean, Grayson Allen too. It's like he's got to get back to where he was at one point, where he was awful from the field as well tonight. Booker can't carry us, man. He can't carry us through this. He needs some help, and that. I think you got to trust it with Brooks and Green, because I mean, there's really no one else you can look at.
Yeah, it is tough. I mean, not to keep referencing the box score too much, but Devin Booker was really the only one getting it done, and even he shot just 50%. Now, Devin Booker is a smart player, so he saw how the game was being called and kind of was attacking more, getting those foul calls, getting to the line, which is what you got to do. I saw there were a couple milestones reached tonight. Devin Booker reached 18,000 career points, which makes him his lead on the Suns all-time list even further and further. I believe, I'm trying to find it to verify, but I think I heard it on the radio broadcast. Yeah. So Royce O'Neal has made 200 3-pointers this season. He's the second Suns player this season to get that 200 3-pointer mark, which the other player being Colin Gillespie. And Mike, tell me if you believe this stat. And I'll double check, but it's the first time in Suns history 2 players have put in 200 or more 3-pointers.
I believe it. Yeah. I mean, it's been everything that's predicated around this team. What's the famous phrase, Chris? You live by the 3, you die by the 3. And for the most part, the Phoenix Suns have been very successful this year in that regard. But that's where the consistency questions come up, like Tallman's talked about. I think overall for this Phoenix Suns team, gentlemen, is we know who they are. Obviously, there's only how many more games left? 8 more games, 7 more games. But, finally they did get a couple of wins. They scratched out some good W's against some teams they should beat. They've won 3 of their last 5, but they had lost 5 straight before then. And it's tough down the stretch losses, right? You talk about the game to Denver and then especially that Milwaukee game at home. I mean, but the matter of fact is they're losing to playoff teams, right? The Raptors, the Celtics, T-Wolves, Spurs, Nuggets, even the Magic tonight. This is a team that has limitations. And, we always talk about updating our expectations as the season goes on, right? Chris, famously, this team was maybe looked at to win 30 games, 32 games this year, right? But then things change. This team bought in, plays hard every single night, but you don't have all the horses to pull you across the finish line. And like we said, if you're not getting that consistent contribution from guys like Jalen Green, it really has to be Jalen Green getting you 18 plus points a night, playing good defense, not turning the ball over. This team is going to find itself exactly where it is, making a playoff. Like, let's not joke about it. This team should make the playoffs no matter what. Even if they do lose to the Clippers, they should have the 7 or 8 seed. But then the expectation is for this team is not going to be to win a playoff series, right? So there's been so many positives from this season, and we've been so excited to see these new pieces coming in, these guys emerging, Oso having a big second year, Colin Gillespie being a guy that has played himself into a nice little contract that he's going to get in the offseason as well. So there's been so many more positives than negatives. It just always sucks for when your team seems like they're positioned to possibly get out of that play-in situation, and then you have more injuries come along, like Mark Williams going down, and your team is struggling, and you can't beat the teams that you would have to beat in the playoffs, so you kind of know who you are at that point. But it's been a hell of a year. It's great to have Dillon back, even though he did look uncomfortable at times tonight. But he's going to be a guy that we're going to have to rely on to possibly get us that playoff win if we do have those dreams this year. But overall, it is good to have him back. And then overall, my last point, kind of sad. He had his shirt drop at AZ Mills. I don't know if you guys saw that guest list. The lines were like 3.5, 4 hours long. So I'm glad I didn't try to do that one, but I did like those shirts. I kind of wanted to grab one of those.
Well, and I think that tells you like how the Valley has quickly embraced Dillon Brooks. If there's those long of lines. And I did kind of hear that it was like a real packed house, and to get people to go to Arizona Mills that's impressive. That's impressive. But yeah, Mike, I think that's like the perspective we got to keep, in that the Suns, by all intents and purposes, are ahead of schedule. Like we kind of said from the onset, like, probably not going to make the playoffs, but let's see some entertaining basketball. Let's see some growth and development. And I think they've checked all the boxes and met all the expectations we had for them before game 1 started. Now, of course, expectations kind of shift and change. And then it kind of became like, okay, you guys are a playoff team. At least get past the play-in, get to the first round. And then it's kind of like, well, maybe they could win a first round, but the team I've been seeing the past couple weeks, I really don't have any hope that they can win a playoff series. And I got to be okay with that, because again, we are ahead of schedule and we're going to get some momentum build up going into next season and see what we can do. Will this team look exactly the same? Probably not. I think Colin Gillespie's in for a payday. Will we be able to keep him? Do they want to keep him? Do they look to move off of a Dillon Brooks or throw Jalen Green into a trade package? I mean, Devin Booker and Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks are all ball dominant guards. I mean, how much of a place is there for all of those guys on the team? And are the Suns, I mean, I know this team is doing a much better job of keeping a brave face and rallying around one another. So nobody will come out and say it, but just like me, at what point are his teammates like, hey, Dillon, like, obviously there's nothing we can say to you. Your technicals are starting to become a problem. You're not only are you giving up points in game, but now you're missing games. Also, you're getting the DUI. Your car smells like a dispensary. I mean, I think there's some leadership qualities that are leaving some things to be desired. Now, it seems like on the court, he has those leadership qualities in the locker room, but we talk about optics all the time, and I mean, it's not great, but clearly hasn't lost him a lot of favor with the fans as they show out for him. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, 6 games left. You got Houston, LA, and OKC as part of that. You could get lucky with OKC. Maybe they're resting some guys with their spot pretty secured, but you got some winnable games in there too against Chicago and Dallas. So I don't know. I think they're in no matter what. It's just what does that play-in look like? And then who's our opponent going to be after that? Should we win in the play-in? Think we're going to talk about that next week, right, Mike? So see what happens. We'll chat it about. But guys, last thing on the docket, and then whatever else we have to get into is your Arizona Diamondbacks season officially kicked off last Thursday in Los Angeles, where they had a lead in each of the 3 games to open the series and gave it up. I think really kind of solidifying a lot of the concerns we had on the outset of the season. And it depends on if you want to take the optimistic view or the pessimistic view, because I think if you're being an optimist, you look at this schedule and these games we've played so far, and it's okay. You played LA close, you had a lead, and you only lost by 1 run in 2 of those games. Yeah, game 1 got a little bit away from you pretty quickly, but there were positives within that. And you're talking about the 2 back-to-back World Series champions going for a 3-peat. They've only gotten stronger. Their payroll's only gotten larger, and they're on track and expected to win 100+ games. So, when you go against the best, take it with a grain of salt when you lose all 3 of them to start the season. You come home, you have Sunday off, you come home on Monday, you get a big win against Detroit. Now started to get a little bit away from us with the bullpen giving up 6 runs. That was a combined effort of Ryan Thompson and who was the other pitcher? It wasn't Juan Murillo that gave it up. Tallman, you were watching.
It was Joe.
Oh,
kid.
It's not a young kid. He's like 30 something.
Or sorry,
Joe Ross.
Joe Ross.
Yes. Joe Ross
of Phillies fame. Yes, thank you, Mike.
Yeah, he looked better than Thompson, but go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, because I admittedly did not tune in that game. I was a box score searcher, watcher, whatever you want to call it. But I did hear that Ryan Thompson was largely responsible for loading up those bases and then letting John Ross take the fall for that. But or Joe Ross, whatever. Anyway, we still won that game, so silver lining. But tonight, you can see, or maybe I guess you can't see, but they are currently losing. It is, what is it, Mike? Help me out here. 5-1 in the bottom of the 5th. So not looking great. But I guess let's start with the first series there. Tallman, I know you were actively watching a lot of that baseball. What is do you fall more on the pessimistic side or the optimistic side after those first 3 games?
I'm not going to do what everyone thinks I'm going to do and just freak out, man. No, I'm not worried about it. Dude, how many more games are there in this season? The baseball season is way too damn long to get hung up on 3 games. And then on the other side, I mean, look at the rest of the division. The Dodgers are at the top, and everyone else has 1 win. The Giants, the Padres, the Rockies. It's like we're all bunched up there, and we know the Diamondbacks aren't going to win the division, right? So it's not great to start 0-3, but at the same time, it's like you're still right there. You're not really losing any ground. But again, there's so much baseball left. But I mean, as you mentioned, Chris, it's obviously the first game. I mean, Zach Gallen, or opening day, right? The first game of the series, Zach Gallen getting the opening day start nod. I mean, he got tagged up a little bit, which is to be expected. Then you have Ryan Nelson come back the next day. I mean, the exact same thing. He got tagged up a bit too. And then Erod coming in on the third game, it's like, dude, he was dealing. I mean, he didn't even give up an earned run. So starting pitching wise, it was a little shaky. It's kind of flip-flop, especially if you include what happened last night with Mike Soroka. I mean, it's like, who would have thought Erod and Soroka would be our two top dudes, and you'd see Ryan Nelson and Zach Gallen kind of, slump a little bit to start the season. But as you mentioned, those last two games of that series, they were right there for the D-backs to win that game, and they had every opportunity to. I mean, they had leads in those games, but they couldn't score a run after the fifth inning in any of those games. It's like, and they got bit by the long ball as well too, and that's always going to be a threat with the Dodgers. I mean, they're never out of any game, right? The Dodgers, their lineup and all the money they've thrown into it, I mean, they're always a couple hits away from being back in the ball game, and that's what got the D-backs. That's what bit the D-backs in the ass, and this just gives you, just get ready for it, guys. This just gives you just a view into how this bullpen's going to go this season until we get healthy. I wonder how many times we're going to say that phrase. Well, we've already said it way too many times. But starting the year with no left-hander in the bullpen, yeah, no one was good enough. You don't just want to gift somebody an opening day roster spot just because they're a left-handed pitcher, right? They didn't earn it. They shouldn't be on the roster. So, I mean, I applaud Lovullo for that. I mean, obviously he knew coming in he was going to get a ton of heat for that, and he did, right? But it looks like I don't expect it to stay that way. There's going to be some moves here, especially after last night. You gotta switch it up, right? We got bit. The poor Joe Ross, man, he got I think he had all six of those runs last night against the Tigers. They were all earned for him. He got all those thanks to Ryan Thompson, and that was after he looked great when he had over the weekend against the Dodgers too. So we got to hope for some consistency with that bullpen. And I mean, another thing too with the starting pitchers, I mean, no one can pitch past 5 innings. I mean, it's going to be a task for this team to see if the starting pitchers can get to 6-7 innings, because we just don't have the arms in the bullpen to be able to, trot through 4 innings. I mean, it took us 3 relievers last night to get through 1 inning, which is just it's just unbelievable. And I mean, when you have an 8-0 lead going into the 6th inning, and then just the 6th inning from hell, that lead gets cut to 8-6. I mean, it's unbelievable. And then Mike Soroka's debut in a D-backs jersey was incredible. I mean, he only went 5 innings. The pinch count got up on him a little bit, but he struck out 10 in 5 innings. And the dude threw an immaculate inning. I've never watched one with my eyes ever in my life, and it was incredible. And I actually didn't even realize it was happening while I was watching it until the 9th pitch, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, he just struck out those 3 guys in a row with 9 pitches, which was incredible. And then in true D-backs fashion, you sat there and you're like, are we going to piss this one away? This is just like the bullpen, the same nightmare of a bullpen situation coming back again. Thankfully, we're able to hold on to it, but it's like, it's not going to be an easy season for us. It's really not.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the immaculate inning and not realizing it. I know we talk about video games a lot in those comps, but I know I don't play. I play the show real casually. I'm not on like a real hard difficulty. So when I'm playing that game, sometimes I'll be throwing an immaculate inning, and you don't realize it till it's the announcer or the broadcaster is like, oh, and they're 1 pitch away from an immaculate inning, and it's like, oh shit, and then the pressure's on, and then the guy like fouls it or something. But that's just me sucking at video games. But yeah, I think the immaculate inning is great. I heard that they were talking about it on the radio this morning, and they were saying that it's actually more rare than a no-hitter, that there have been fewer immaculate innings thrown than no-hitters thrown. And then also, I guess they were also talking about how, like, what's more impressive, an immaculate inning or a 3-pitch inning. And I guess that was like even like just about as rare. So it's great. I think I had kind of been on the Soroka bandwagon. I knew just based off my previous experience having had him on my fantasy baseball teams. That dude can deal when he's healthy. And so they took a flyer on him, and maybe this is one where Hazen found a diamond in the rough. I know a lot of people are saying, hey, pump the brakes. It's only one start. We got to see what he does. Also, we're getting Kelly back. What does that mean? But hey, maybe make Merrill Kelly your closer. Put him in the bullpen. I'm joking, of course. Merrill Kelly will pitch 4 innings, get crampy, and then he'll be out for another few months. But I'm still joking, guys. I'm joking, but it's great to see some positives here early. But I mean, the bullpen situation is just disgusting to me because you're right. Kevin Ginkel being the only left-handed arm is a problem, and teams are going to take advantage of that. Like Mike, you and I were kind of talking about this on Sunday. Like the idea that we had was, well, yeah, the bullpen might be a little rough, but we have great offense. We'll be able to outpace it. But we kind of thought that last year, and it wasn't the case.
Well, and the situation is, I mean, technically Kevin Ginkel isn't even a left-handed arm, Chris. he's one of the only guys who can like match up and throw that splitter kind of like a way to get them caught up. But the big, are you trying to say something? Because you're muted right now. Yeah,
sorry. I was looking at the depth, the roster, and he bats left. Ginkel bats left, but he throws right. So there are literally no left-handed.
Yeah,
pitchers. My bad.
That's the famous thing. There are no lefties in this bullpen right now. And obviously when it comes down to the start of this season, you gotta look at it from Tallman's lens. I mean, if we're getting hot and heavy about things that are happening within the first 3 series, I would say, we're all going to die of a heart attack by the time we're 38 years old. We're just not going to survive. But my thing, which kind of sucks for me to start this season, and yes, you are playing the previous champions, going for a three-peat, but you're seeing the same things. You guys talked about it. You know, Gallen comes out, is just stellar through 4, and then gives up that 3-run homer to Paez. Game 2, Kyle Tucker, Ginkel gets, blows it in the 8th. Edwin Diaz gets his first career save for the Dodgers. Juan Murillo blows it in the 8th the next game against with that 2-run homer to Will Smith. And yeah, I mean, there was the bright spot of Michael Soroka. Technically, those 10 strikeouts is the most by a pitcher in their Diamondbacks debut as well. So yesterday we were technically witnessing history. But yeah, you talked about Joe Ross, just horrible. 5 hits, 6 earned runs. Ryan Thompson gives up a hit, 2 walks. It's the same thing. It's the same things that have happened the past 3 years. So it comes back to that situation and the definition of insanity, thinking that things are going to change when you do the same things over and over again. And that's why my predictions were exactly where they sat. This team is the same. They're going to do the same things. What was the issues that we always saw with Brandon Pfaadt within his consistency? He has that one blow-up inning, and you saw it today. It was earlier than normal. It was in the 3rd. He gives up 5 runs. So, man, and especially if this team isn't going to be able to put up 8 runs consistently night in, night out, you don't have the bullpen arms to hold leads right now. So I think this is going to be the definition of treading water for this Diamondbacks team, because if you guys also look at what we have coming up, it's great teams. It's just absolutely great teams. The Braves, 4-game set. The Mets, who just loaded up as well. The Phillies. I mean, Baltimore even got way better. And then you're talking about the team coming out of the AL in Toronto. Like, we don't get a rest until mid-April before we get some series where it's like, this should be easier than what we've seen. This should be a minimum 2 out of 3 win series, and you start gaining back momentum in the standings early, because the last thing that you want to be doing is looking 10 games under 500, trying to scratch and claw back closer to, by the time you do get your big time arms back, having a real chance. Because we've seen the past seasons, this team does not have enough caliber of weapons to get over the hump. They are close. They really do fight to the end. But if you put yourself in a huge hole at the beginning of the year, it is tough, man. But you don't judge a book by its cover until you start getting further along within the pages. So you got to give this team, what would you say, Tallman, maybe 30 games to really stretch things out, see what this team really is, who is going to be your consistent bullpen arms, who's going to be your best arms in that starting rotation, and who you can count on consistently. So time will tell. But this, man, it's like it's deja vu. Good thing we brought Paul Sewald back. It's 2023 all over again.
Yeah, Mike, and I know it's early. Tallman's right. There's a whole lot of baseball left. There's like 158 games or something left to play. There's a lot of baseball. But I fear that your prediction may be accurate. I don't see the playoffs in this team's future, but you never know. Anything could happen. Teams get hot, teams get cold, and it's how well this team can be managed, how connected they can be, and how well they can hold on until they get healthy, because there is help on the way. It's not like we have to wonder who we're going to get at the trade deadline. We know who we're going to get around the trade deadline and near the end of the season. It's just I guess the unknown at that point is how sharp are they going to be right out the gate coming off of those injuries. Tommy John is no joke. But in theory, that surgery repairs that to be where they are stronger and better than ever. Well, we'll see. Tallman, I do want to ask you though about the management of Torey Lovullo, because I know middle of the last season, a lot of people were calling for his head. We're sick of Torey. And then the way the Diamondbacks looked down the stretch, he kind of started to gain some more favor. And it's like, all right, Torey, come on back. So did he get extended? I think, I can't remember, but he's back this season. He didn't get fired at the very least. He's back this season. And now 3 games in, like personally, I'm starting to remember why I'm sick of Torey. And I'll tell you why. For me, it's the platitudes. And I know there's only so much that a manager or a coach can go up there on the podium and say every night, but he got up there and was like, oh, that's not Diamondbacks baseball. We're not playing Diamondbacks baseball. Oh, we let this one get away from us. And it's like, man, you guys haven't been playing Diamondbacks baseball in 3 years. Like, you can't pretend like it's 2023 for the rest of your tenure here. Like, it's just not how it works. Like, at a certain point, that is Dbacks baseball, and it's not winning baseball consistently, and that sucks. But maybe you can try and get back to something that resembles winning baseball and stop worrying about what is Diamondbacks baseball. That aside, what I wanted to get your opinion on is his management of the pitchers. Now, as I was coming up with this question, I see that Brandon Pfaadt has pitched 6 full innings, but prior to that, there hadn't been a starting pitcher that had pitched more than 5 innings. And knowing that the bullpen is such dog shit, do you kind of question that decision a little bit when there hasn't been a player? I don't think any of those guys pitched more than 90 pitches. Could you have maybe made the case to roll him out there for a 6th inning? Guys like Eduardo Rodriguez, Zach Gallen, and Ryan Nelson?
Oh, absolutely. I think because Erod his pitch count was in the 80s, like 80. Come on, why wouldn't you send him out there for another one? I don't know if he's trying to just slow roll them into the season. And then even Soroka, I mean, he threw the best inning of his life, and then he got pulled from the game, right? So that happened in the 5th, right? He was at 89 pitches. I mean, the dude, he had every. Oh, okay. Erod was only 79 pitches. That's even worse. That's crazy. Why? That's a 20 pitch cushion right there. Because Lovullo's that guy. He's like, oh, I only wanted him at no more than 100, no more than 100. He's got that real hard hook at 100 pitches. That's fine. But 79, you can't run Erod out there when he was pitching a hell of a game. But like with Soroka too. I mean, in that 5th inning, it was like his placement was spot on. He was getting obviously, he threw 9 strikes in a row, and the dude, he got a ton of swing and miss on those. And he threw, like I said, the best inning that I've seen in quite a long time. So I don't know. I mean, he's going to learn here real quick. And I think we saw it. And I think he was kicking himself last night too. And because I'm sitting there watching that 6th inning last night with the Tigers, like, why would you leave Thompson out there? I mean, he couldn't. Okay, so he even came out after the game and admitted, he said, I was trying to save relievers or whatever. We had the big lead, but then it got so bad to the point he had to bring in Juan Murillo, which Lovullo did the same thing on the post-game conference last night too. So I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that mispronounces his name.
All right.
I swear he corrected himself too. He's smart. But it's like, dude, it's like, just if it's not going good, like pull them out. Who cares about the relievers? Figure it out later. It's like you can't let someone go in there and just implode. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the 2 balks that Ryan Thompson had in the same at bat. Like after that, he was all over the place, literally just falling apart. I mean, the second you can pull him out, you should have pulled him out. But I'm gonna give him some time though, right? Because there's a lot of challenges that he's gonna face. And Mike, you mentioned a game. I'd say about 40 games, right? 40 games puts you at about a quarter mark of the season. You're able to see what teams are really in it, what teams are not. And I think stat wise too, we're going to be able to see, okay, you've had a couple starts under your belt, or you've had a handful of appearances out of the bullpen. Who's going to be our A bullpen? Who's going to be our B bullpen? And who needs to get the hell off the roster? So I think about 40 games in, that's when I'm really looking to start dissect it. But starting off, Chris, it's a great question too. I mean, 79 pitches for Erod, Soroka coming off of the best start we've seen all season with our starting pitchers. I mean, why not let them go longer? They should get a chance to go longer.
I think, and I don't want to, I'll do it. I'll accuse Torey of this. I think that managers will, it's a classic case of like over management and thinking that you are smarter than everybody else and that you have some kind of inside edge, when sometimes like Mike, you've coached. I mean, you've coached, like there's cases where you've been around the game, any game, long enough to see like there are times when a manager oversteps and does too much. And it's like, sometimes you just got to let the players play. I mean, before we move off of talking about the D-backs on the field, is there anything else you wanted to add to that conversation, Mike?
No, it's just early season jitters more often than not. Man, I'm telling you still, like, there's going to be learning curves too at the same time with the amount of guys that we had in the World Baseball Classic. I mean, specifically for Erod, he was a guy who was still stretching out his arm. His team won the whole dang thing. So I know you want to save guys early, but yeah, like he's ready to go. He showed the merit, man. I think we said 79 pitches, 50 were strikes. He was absolutely balling, man. You got to take advantage when you can within those situations, especially against teams like the Los Angeles Dodgers, who, when you can scratch out those type of wins, they mean almost double comparative to these low-level victories to teams like the White Sox. You know what I mean? Like, you got to strike when you can. That's what it all comes down to. Tallman, I do like the 40 game because you're talking about what? That's about a quarter of the season. I will be concerned, though, if we're looking at this team, we're not even looking at where their standings are in the NL West, right? But if they're like 8 games out of a final wild card spot after 40 games, that's going to be a massive issue. And we've seen teams turn it around and have crazy runs down the stretch. I mean, hell, the Detroit Tigers had a 15-game lead last year and lost the division to the Cleveland Guardians. But be honest with yourselves. Are the Arizona Diamondbacks as good as a team like the Cleveland Guardians? I don't think so. So they're going to have to keep themselves in position consistently this entire year until they get their heavy hitters back to be able to strike. They cannot mismanage the way they handle these games, specifically like you talked about, Chris, with over-managing certain situations when it comes to Torey. But I'm still so excited for this team, man. I can't wait to see what's happening next.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I mean, it's disheartening to get swept in an opening series, but consider the opponent, consider the time of year. Tallman, I think 40 games is a great benchmark, and we'll know a lot more in about a month and a half. But I'm with Mike. I'm excited for this team to watch some baseball. It's become one of my favorite sports, despite what I said about 10 years ago, or maybe even not even that long ago.
No, it wasn't 10 years. It was a couple of years ago.
But man, it does get my blood pumping, and I can't.
They are athletes.
They are athletes. Athletes. I didn't know there were 3 syllables in athlete. Yeah, but I'm excited to get down to the ballpark, and hopefully the seats that I purchase aren't in the obstructed area. That when I got that notification about this story, I honestly didn't fully understand what was happening, because I know that there have been some upgrades to Chase Field over the last few years. Last year it was the stadium lights. This year, the offseason, they unveiled their nice shiny new scoreboard. So I thought it was the scoreboard, but I was like looking at it and I'm like, I don't see how that could be obstructing anybody. I guess maybe because it's a little wider, but it sounds like it's the LED ribbon that goes around the outside of it was partially obstructing some views there. And see a picture. This from AZ Central. New ribbon boards at Chase Field are obstructing the view of the playing surface, forcing the Arizona Diamondbacks to relocate ticket holders. Okay, I almost thought that said season ticket holders. That'd be a whole nother problem. But I see in the ESPN article that there was a statement released by Diamondback CEO Derek Hall. He said, "We are well aware that the view has changed for ticket holders in the first row and are not happy about it. We are working closely with them to relocate to an acceptable location. For some fans, the seats may be partially obstructed view, but I clearly understand they previously were not and apologize. We had a similar situation years ago on the suite level when we first built its ribbon." So when I first read that, I thought he was saying that they were going to relocate the ribbon, but it sounds like it's not going anywhere. So Mike, are people just going to have to buy those tickets knowing that they're going to have a partially obstructed view?
Oh, yeah. But I would also say if you're doing season tickets, these are going to be massively discounted at this point. I mean, depending on where you are for the view field of the fields, they're saying you can't even see the dugouts. You can't even see half the field. Obviously, guys, I would say for us, this probably wouldn't be that big of a deal because we're taller individuals. But at the same time, this sucks, man. And the big reason why I think this sucks is because it doesn't sound like this was truly communicated to those season ticket holders like in a proper fashion. It was like people were going to those first games against the Cleveland Guardians, that last preseason 2 games that they had, and probably sitting down and being like, "Oh, what the hell? I can't see half the field now. What's going on?" But and then it sounds like they also had to relocate the game operations crew. And they didn't have a plan until the Monday night home opener, where the crew is the official scorer, the pitch clock operator, and the person who runs the automated ball strike system. So is this brand new? I know these ribbons and the main scoreboard were installed, I think, within the last month. But you would think that they would have done the proper research and had people communicated with properly and started relocating them before the season started. It's a tough look, man. I like the ribbons. I love the new scoreboard. It looks awesome. At the end of the day, is this something that really is going to affect me going to the games? Not even at all, because I sit in the lower bowl every time I go to Chase Field. So it is what it is. I do feel bad for those season ticket holders, though.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Mike. I mean, I do have a soft spot for the upper deck because 1, they're cheap, and 2, me and Tallman got a little rowdy up there when we were in high school. So it holds a place in my heart. But man, yeah, I agree with you. I genuinely don't see this being that massive of a problem, especially now that it's a known issue. Like, just buy some tickets further back or stand up. I know it's not easy to stand up for a full baseball game. I get it. But you can still see most of the field, and you might get some cheaper tickets. So I do think it is kind of crazy that maybe this wasn't considered. I don't see how that was possible. Like, do you not have anyone going and taking a look at these things?
Yeah, how'd they not know? Like, no one sat down before they did all of them like that? Come on. It makes no sense. You know what they should do? They shouldn't sell the tickets. They should only sell those seats when the Dodgers come to town. And only Dodgers fans are allowed to sit there.
Hell yeah.
That's what it should be.
I love it. Yo, they could hire me. Dbacks, reach out. I will go to Chase Field and I will sit in every single seat in the stadium and take a picture of the field view. And then you can sell that to Ticketmaster and all these other ticket websites so you can see the exact POV from that seat. I'll do it. All what? 40,000 seats?
Chris,
more than that?
60.
60. I'll do it.
No, 48.
$1 a seat.
I think that market might have already been cornered. Because I remember when I was buying tickets for the Boston Red Sox game I went to last year, I could get like a field view from that kind of stuff. But Tallman, going back to what you're saying, I think Chris even read it within the statement that Derek Hall made was they had a similar situation years ago on the suite level when they first built the ribbon. So it's like you've had experience. How are you so unprepared again? Like that's great. That's just it's. I wouldn't say it's crazy. I would just say like it's kind of pathetic, but it'll be a non-story pretty soon. Those season ticket holders will get relocated, and I'll just remember to not buy first row seats in section 300, and we'll move on with our lives.
Easy, done. Yeah, this story will fade away quickly, and I'm not too worried about it. Just a weird story to have come out in the first couple weeks of the baseball season. Gentlemen, I know that was like our official last topic that we had on the agenda, but I did have one more baseball related topic. We can make it quick. Wanted to throw you guys a wild card and see what you think about it. And I actually want to throw this to VSP Tallman first, because this season is the very first season that the MLB has introduced the ABS, that automatic ball strike system, and the challenge system where pitchers, catchers, and batters can challenge a call, and then it gets quickly reviewed and could possibly be overturned. And we're already seeing some instances of I guess mixed reactions. Some managers have gotten a little fired up. I think I saw one of the managers get ejected. It was a game against the Yankees where it was like literally like 0.1 inches or centimeter. It was like so close. And there's an argument because the plate, it's like supposed to be like a 3D like strike zone essentially, but the ABS system only picks it up like halfway through the plate. So you kind of lose some of that, what would it be, subjectivity of the umpire to be able to trust their eye and make that call, to where we even saw it in the World Baseball Classic where there wasn't that ABS, where it was Geraldo Perdomo took that ball really low in the knees and it looked like a strike on the television broadcast, but there was an argument where it was like, well, it came in the zone and went out of the zone. So it's like when it went through that halfway point of the plate, it was outside of the zone. So had there been ABS, it probably would have been overturned and been called a ball, but WBC didn't have that. So I guess, Tallman, what I want to ask you is like, what do you think so far through the first half a week or week? Do you think it's going to be good in the long run? Do you think there's some kinks to work out, or is this just bad for the game?
No, I think it's great. I'm a huge fan of it. And Chris, going back to what you're saying though, real quick, I guess it's measured from the center of home plate.
Correct.
So yeah, so it's everyone has their own strike zone, which I think is awesome, right? So Aaron Judge and Jose Altuve don't have the same strike zone, right? It's all measured. Everybody got measured twice by MLB, by two different entities. So it seems like they did the research, right? They had a bunch of smart ass people figure this out. And I think they're doing it the right way. And honestly, I think it's great for the game because I don't want to hear all the old head people saying, the human element is part of the game, right? No, if it's a ball, it's a ball. If it's a strike, it's a strike. I mean, just using that WBC game with the Geraldo at bat. I mean, like, yeah, you guys know I don't care that much about the World Baseball Classic, but like they do, the Dominican Republic, they were all about that shit. And I'm sure there was many people that are heartbroken over that. And I don't think the human element of blowing a call on such a pivotal point of the game that decides the game, I don't think that's good for the game, right? That's not that wouldn't be how I'd want it, right? If I was a competitor. I mean, the argument is, sometimes you get some calls your way, sometimes you get calls against you, but like I said, it's as simple as if it's a ball, it's a ball. If it's a strike, it's a strike. And the only worry I had about this coming in was like, oh, great. They come out with the pitch clock to try to speed up the games. How long is this going to delay the game? They have been lights out with these reviews. It's in a matter of seconds. So props to them. Like I said, they have this shit. They iron this out, and I think they have it dialed in, and I think it's incredible.
And that's an excellent point. And literally what I had just typed on my notes here is that we see these other sports, basketball and football particularly, where they have these long, drawn out reviews. They're showing it from 15 different angles just to still get the call wrong. But these baseball reviews are lightning fast. It's like very black and white. It's in or it's not. Call comes into the he communicates it and we move on, and it's super quick. And so I think I'm with you, Tallman. I'm with you there. I think it's really good for the game. And a lot of people are saying that this wouldn't have even been considered if Angel Hernandez wasn't such a terrible umpire throughout his entire career. Mike, it sounds like I see you nodding along over here. It sounds like you share a lot of these opinions.
100% agree. I've been in favor of this. I was hoping that they would have instituted it last year when they were trying it out during spring training, but I know you want to work through the kinks. Obviously, when it is instituted, there's going to be situations to start, and it's not going to be a perfect system. But man, I would say overall, within the past 5-10 years, the changes that have been made to Major League Baseball have all pretty much been positives, man. They've changed the game for the better. So it's just funny. I do like the options that, like, if you get two challenges, right? If you use them and you keep getting it right, you could just keep going and going and going. Like, I think the Yankees had 5 in a row last night or whatever. And I remember there was another spring training game, I think it was the Red Sox, where they were challenging 4 straight calls, 4 straight pitches. So it does add a little bit of intrigue into that. But with how fast things are going with those reviews, it's an absolute positive. People make mistakes. I'd rather have the option for somebody to call for a challenge and get it the right way within a certain amount of time, not every time. So I think this is a big win for baseball, but I know there are those purists out there who hate it, but screw them. How about that?
Hey, I like it. You got to adapt and overcome. These times, they're changing, old man. You got to get with the times. I think it's great. And I agree, whether it's increasing the base sizes, the pitch clock, the ABS, like, these have all been positive changes. And I think that, the way the commissioner of baseball has been heading, and whoever's involved in making these decisions, they've been flexible, and they're like, we're going to try it out. If it doesn't work, we'll adjust. And so far it's all working out. So I'm really happy for it. I'm excited for the baseball season as a whole. And it's been a good stream, guys. It's been a really good stream. As always, want to give you each the floor one last time to share any final thoughts, any stories, what's going on in your life. Tallman, man, what's going on?
Yeah, so we're watching the Masters, right? Master Sunday.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Sunday after next, right?
April 12th.
Yes, next
Sunday. But
it's on my calendar.
There we go. Okay, fuck yeah, I'm stoked for the Masters. What sucks is the whole Tiger Woods, man, dude. We're gonna get deprived of watching Tiger Woods shoot 10 over and miss the cut at the Masters, which sucks because you never miss an opportunity to watch that guy play golf professionally, because you never know how many more chances you're gonna have. And that was just a total bummer. I was like, God damn it, why do you got to take pills and drive, dude? Now I can't watch you play golf. That's me being selfish. Obviously, hopefully the guy's okay. He needs to get some help, which sounds like he's getting that help. But sorry, guys, we couldn't watch Tiger in red on Sunday. That's just a bummer.
So are we all going to wear red on Masters Sunday?
I have a red.
Is that the dress code?
I have a red polo golf shirt.
I think I have one. I think it's in the trunk of my car, but I'll clean it up. I'll throw it on.
If not, I have an extra one for you, Chris.
You know what? Actually, I have a work polo that's red, and since I won't be out in public, I'll throw it on. But anyway, Mike, what you got, bro?
Until I take videos of you doing inappropriate stuff and post it all over our socials, so maybe you need to think twice about it.
I'll like tape the logo or something.
Can I give a hot take about the Masters real fast? I think Bryson DeChambeau has a real good chance to win this thing. He's been killing it in LIV. I think he won 2 events back to back. He's been striking the ball well. So keep an eye out for Bryson. I like him. I don't know if you guys ever watch his YouTube stuff, but he's an entertaining guy. But this is the only other thing. I got to grab it real fast. So you guys fill the time real fast for me.
Oh, perfect. I got the absolute best subject matter, and I do need Mike to hear this. Are we going to be making the azalea? on Masters Sunday? It's the official drink of the Masters. It's
Yeah.
gin,
I was like,
gin,
what the
lemonade,
hell are you
pineapple juice,
talking about?
grenadine.
Yeah.
I know Mike likes his gin.
Yeah. No, you know what? I haven't drank gin in a minute, so that sounds like a good time.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
All right, but this is it. I got it.
Oh, that's right.
The Deshaun Jordans have arrived with the snake medallion, the purple and teal. They got a bunch of different lace options here: teal, copper, another
Damn.
black one.
That's cool that those are all included.
I cannot wait to bust these out, man. I cannot wait. I've seen a lot of people out there, man. There was lines at Cowtown going crazy on Saturday. A couple of my buddies got him, who works for my buddy Derek. Shout out to him, works for the Diamondbacks. He was wearing them at an opening day yesterday. So it's just the perfect shoe for the perfect season. Baseball season is here. That's all I got, gentlemen. I'm wearing red for the Masters, though. Yep.
Oh, they're like full on available now, huh? Nice.
Oh yeah. I mean, then they're not too bad. They're not too expensive on resale sites either if you want to get them. But okay, yeah, I won't be here next week, gentlemen. So you're gonna have to hold it down.
So if you're not gonna be here next week, how are we gonna do Past the Outlet next week?
We're doing Past the Outlet on the 14th after the Suns finish the season.
All right. Well, Tallman, we'll figure out something for you. You free next Tuesday? We'll take it offline. We'll circle back.
Yeah.
But gentlemen, it is always a pleasure, never a chore, as Stephen Miller would say, to hop on here and talk some Arizona sports with y'all. Anybody who's still watching with us live, we thank you so much. If you're listening on the playback on audio-only platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you find your podcast, or watching the playback right here on YouTube, we appreciate you as well. You're a real one. While you're here, make sure you like and subscribe right here on our YouTube channel and follow our links in the description below to Instagram, X, TikTok, and so much more, all going to be at AZ_VSP. And like I said, links in the description below. You could also follow, if you just like Michael Benjamin, he's over here. If you just like Michael Benjamin, you could just follow Michael Benjamin or just follow VSP Tallman or myself, Chris Patrick. But for Mr. Benjamin and VSP Tallman, as I said, I'm Chris Patrick, and we will see y'all next time. Peace.
Things up here, and for one last time, this is Al McCoy saying thanks for being there, thanks for being with us tonight, and from the Footprint Center here in downtown Phoenix, we'll just say so long for now.